Today we're talking evidence and personal injury claims. Jacob, what evidence do you need to prove your personal injury case? And wait, first.
Go ahead.
Is it really a case?
Oh, I mean, I guess I would call it a legal matter, right? It's not really a case until you file a lawsuit, right?
Okay.
But since most personal injury issues are resolved outside of court, generally during settlement with an insurance company, that kind of thing, then it's not really a case, if you want to get really technical about it.
Okay, because the only reason I ask that is I think you should collect evidence for a case just because it might become necessary.
Right.
But you also want to think about the evidence that you're going to send to the other side during settlement. So can you talk about this?
Right. So typically what you do before you file your lawsuit is you're going to see if the insurance company is going to be reasonable, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to send them a demand letter. And what you want to do in that demand letter is show kind of a comprehensive view and say, look, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. My client has been hurt. This is what they're going through. This is how this incident impacted their life, and give them that bird's eye view of the entire view of my client. Now, not everything that I put in the demand letter, not all of the evidence that I include will be admissible in court, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't get it and that we shouldn't do a thorough investigation and put together a thorough demand letter.
Okay. Now ask me, what are the two big buckets of things we want to prove?
What are the two big buckets of things that we want to prove, Travis?
Okay. So one is who's at fault.
Yes.
And the other is what are the damages?
Right.
Now, who's at fault might not be in dispute.
Typically, yeah, particularly when you have somebody who acted in a really reckless or egregious or intentional way.
Okay, but you want that evidence.
Yes.
So let's talk about those two different things. So what goes in the who's at fault bucket and what goes into what are my damages bucket?
Yeah.
So in the who's at fault bucket, what's in there?
In the who's at fault bucket, you probably, generally, you're going to call the police. There's going to be some kind of accident report. Mm-hmm. There might be eyewitnesses who say, well, the light was red, or they were speeding, or those kinds of things. Or you might say, and be your own witness and say, well, they were speeding and they hit me. And maybe everyone agrees to those kinds of things. So you're going to have witness statements in terms of the who's at fault. And then other evidence may also indicate, so it's a good idea to take pictures after an accident. Mm-hmm. I think that's generally where you land on the who's at fault.
Okay, what if I slipped and fell in a store and I was injured in a store?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we'll typically ask for the video evidence from the store to see if they were monitoring the premises, to make sure that they were cleaning up things that were on the ground that could have caused your slip. And so, yeah, I mean, we would also get that kind of evidence as well.
So pictures, video, and
testimony.
And testimony.
Yeah.
Okay, about the accident itself.
Yes.
Okay, what's in the damages bucket?
So damages really comes down to how you're suffering, what's your pain, have you lost wages, those kinds of things. And so what kind of medical care you've had to receive, what kind of medical care are you likely to receive in the future? So that's going to be medical records, doctor's reports. It's often advisable to have and keep a pain journal. Those are the kinds of things that fit into that bucket. Anything else that you would tell a client to keep?
Don't get injured. If you do, call an attorney.
Yeah, I think that's a good piece of advice.